Welcome back, my lovely, lovely friends, to another community update for this week ending in the 29th of May 2020. Do you see what I did there? Do you see what I did? I've swapped it around because I've realised that's what proper YouTube channels do. They have like a little, hey, this is what this is about. Then they have their kind of like logo thing, whatever it is, and then they go into the content. Professional, that's me. Anyway, moving on to this week's news. On the back of Mantic cancelling its physical tournaments for 2020, they're lending a hand to the community by announcing that some of the previously physical tournaments are now going to be non-physical tournaments in Universal Battle. It's all a bit confusing. Anyway, the two they've announced are Vanguard and Buggy to GT, which are both US tournaments. So all you filthy colonials can now be joined by us noble, colonizers, whatever we are, Europeans, so long as you don't mind a bunch of people who are really out of their time zone, very confused and sleep deprived. It's been kind of interesting to see how the different countries' Masters tournaments have responded to the news around various cancellations. The UK tournament scene is just being extended by a whole year. The Australian Masters scene is now counting Universal Battle tournaments as part of its Masters course, and today the US Masters has announced that they're going to move it to July, which has been met by the normal balanced mix of that's fine, that's the end of the world, and I don't care. Special props to the people saying it's the end of the world who don't actually live in the US. High five you guys! While I've got Masters tournaments on my mind, George Kirk, who's part of the UK Masters Committee, has asked that UK players fill in a UK KOW players survey. I'll put the link below the video and you can just fill it out and put loads of abuse. Just, sling bucketfuls of abuse. Point out their haircuts. Actually, possibly don't do that. I'm quite scared of a couple of them. Someone on the Masters Committee that I'm not scared of is Nick Williams. Lovely Nick, who has thoroughly cemented his Master of Data status with a post on Universal Battle Dice. Those of you playing Universal Battle will be familiar with hashtag #UBDice when you happen to roll 12 ones, for example. Nick's gone way out of the way to prove that you're all mental. He's analysed well over 5,000 sets of data to prove that, if anything, UBDice are even more fair than any other random generator. So actually, it's just confirmation bias. Like we don't get off with that girl you like and you just take it as proof that everybody hates you, which is probably not what confirmation bias is. Feel free to yell at me, because I literally do not care. Now you may be thinking, I wish I heard more about the opinions of Northern Kings. Why are they so shy and retiring? Just tell us what you think. Well, good news, chaps! The Awesome Foursome have launched a new video series called The Council of War. Make no mistake, these guys are expert Kings of War players, so their opinions are worth listening to. In the first of this series, they're going through units that they think are underrated and telling you why they think so. It's a really fascinating look into strategy and tactics, focusing on units, and I can't wait to see what they're coming up with next. Not least to see if Padley actually manages to get a decent camera angle going. Those of you playing on Universal Battle 2 who might be looking for some tips and tactics might want to check out Conrad Gonzales' new video about how to auto-load a force. It's a nice shortcut and a pretty short video to whiz through. Conrad's channel is pretty new, so go over and show it some love. Those of you who can't get enough of Universal Battle 2 or the Call to Arms tournament might want to head over to the Kings of War forum. Now, a player called Dark Black, and I was going to say his real name, but his real name appears to be Erasmus Burger, and I'm not sure either of those is real. Anyway, he's been recapping his Call to Arms battles on the forum. His descriptions are lovely and clear, and he's got some nice witty descriptions on the pictures. Hopefully there's more to come. Now, I do try to avoid talking about models that have been created by the same players again and again and again. However, there are obvious exceptions, and this update is riddled with them. Bob Nelson is one of them. I really like his Kragoff and Bannock Colarm. He's customised a Greater Earth Elemental to reflect the fluff, and I think it looks fantastic. Now, I'm a big fan of the Brother Mark. They're my next army. However, I am put off by the giant amount of horses you have to paint, because painting horses sucks. However, Lugar Des Moines? Lugar Des Moines. Anyway, they clearly don't think so, because that is a ton of horses. And look how cool they look! I love a pink tree. Why do I love a pink tree so much? Probably says something about me. I really liked Grant Alexander's dragon. I'm assuming it's an elf dragon because, Twilight King don't have them anymore. Because I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. The wings are a great example of airbrush technique, at least I assume that's airbrush technique. And that water base looks really cool. Good job, mate. Cy Brand's at it again with his inspired conversions of Veermin models into Ratkin. This time he's taken Shadowhounds to make a unit of Hackpaws, along with a weird kind of drilly machine thing at the back. What is it? I don't know what that is. It's cool though, isn't it? Speaking of conversions, I thought Sebastian Richard Reeves' Unicorn was inspired. The base model is Unithorn from Arcworld, which is Warplock Miniatures, but he's added an absolute ton of stuff to it, including removable wings. I think it's just fantastic, and it's so brilliantly themed for the Green Lady. I've talked before about how I find yellow hard to paint, but P2 Mackinnon has absolutely knocked it out of the park with his Rordian infantry. There's a brilliant mix of models, and I think the basing is just superb. Shaky camera work, not recommended. And now, as we plough into people I talk about all the bloody time, Patrick Zoroalan has updated his alien-themed Night Stalker force. It's got even better. Just look how fantastic these aliens look swarming over this building. Honestly, it's some of the most inspired multi-basing I've ever seen. I could go on about this for ages, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to point out how he sneaked in a couple of pictures at the end of his, I don't know what, Emperor Edition diorama, whatever it was called. What was that called? I don't care. Patrick's painting is really inspirational, and I think this is another fantastic example of it. Look at that OSL. Like it. Hank Googe's work rate is ridiculous. First I was going to post about this stone priest that he posted, but then he posted these pugs, like in walking bathtubs. I mean, I don't even know why. Does the man just sit around coming up with like weird ideas to do with hot tubs? Freaking love it. Oh look, there's the chap. He's actually on the base with them. I didn't need to put that first photograph. Man, I'm incompetent. And we close with a couple of Chris Walsh inspired posts. One of them it's by Chris Walsh. Hey Chris! He's, I assume, hand sculpted a bunch of tidal swarm. Little wiggly tentacles. Aren't they cute? When I say cute, I mean disgusting. But for once, Chris Walsh has been out Chris Walshed by Christian Hoffman, who took this Barbie doll and did this to it. I mean, it's not really, strictly speaking, a Kings of War model. Look, it's on a great big round base and everything. But I do worry about the man's mind. Good on you, fella. Well, that's it for this week. I'm off to register for 7 tournaments that take place in other time zones, which I then rudely won't turn up to. Nah.